Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmadu wa nasalli ala Rasuli Kareem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this series, Check Yourself. Check yourself in the light of the hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ regarding the end of times, Akhir Zaman, before Qiyamah, so that we may be able to prepare ourselves properly. If those things do happen in our lifetime, that we may be able to save ourselves, inshallah. The first hadith for today, number 80. عن محمد السوقة قال أتيت نعيم بن أبي هند فأخرج إلى الصحيفة فإذا فيها من أبي عبيد بن جراح ومعاذ بن جبل إلى عمر بن الخطاب. So this is a letter that I'll read the letter in Arabic, and inshallah it's a letter that was written and a reply to the letter, a letter from Abu Ubaid bin Jarrah and Mu'adh bin Jabal radiyallahu anhuma to Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu, and then his reply to the letter. Salamun alayka amma ba'd fa inna ahidnaka وأمر نفسك لك مهم وأصبحت قد وليت أمر هذه الأمة أحمرها وأسودها يجلس بين يديك الشريف الوضيع والعدو والصديق وبكل حصة من العدل فانظر كيف أنت عند ذلك يا عمر فإنا نحذرك يوما تعي فيه الوجوه وتجف فيه القلوب وتقطع فيه الحجج يملك قهرهم بالجبروت والخلق داخلونه يرجون رحمته ويخافون عقابه وإن كنا نحدث عن أمر هذه الأمة سيرجع إلى آخر زمانها أن يكون إخوان العلانية أعداء السريرة وإن نعوذ بالله أن ينزل كتابنا إليك سوى المنزل الذي نزل من قلوبنا فإنا كتبنا به نصيحة لك والسلام عليك فكتب إليهما من عمر بن الخطاب إلى أبو عبيد ومعاذ بن جبل رضي الله عنهم سلام عليكم أما بعد فإنكما كتبتما إلي تذكراني أنكما عهدتماني وأمر نفسي لي مهم وإني قد أصبحت قد وليت أمر هذه الأمة أحمرها وأسودها يجلس بين يدي الشريف الوضيع والعدو والصديق ولكل حس من ذلك كتبتما فانظر كيف أنت عند ذلك يا عمر وإنه لا حول ولا قوة عند ذلك لعمر إلا بالله عز وجل وكتبتما تحذران ما حذرت به الأمم قبلنا وقديما كان اختلاف الليل والنهار بأجال الناس يقربان كل بعيد ويبليان كل جديد ويأتيان بكل موعود حتى يصير الناس إلى منازلهم من الجنة والنار كتبتما تذكراني أنكما كنتما تحدثان أن أمر هذه الأمة سيرجو في آخر زمانها أن يكون إخوان العلانية أعداء السريرة ولستم بأولئك ليس هذا بزمان ذاك وأن ذلك زمان تظهر فيه الرغبة والرهبة تكون رغبة بعض الناس إلى بعض صلاح دنياهم ورهبة بعض الناس من بعض كتبتما به نصيحة تعوذاني بالله أن أنزل كتابكما سوى المنزل الذي نزل من قلوبكما وإنكما كتبتما به وقد صدقتما فلا تدع الكتاب إلي فإنه لا غنى بي عنكما والسلام عليكما. So Muhammad bin Suqa, he says that narrated from Na'im bin Abi Hind, he was present in his presence, and then he pulled out a letter in which was written from Abu Ubayd bin Jarrah and Mu'adh bin Jabal to Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu. So Assalamu alaikum, this is in the contents of the letter. This is advice of other Sahaba to Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu when he was Khalifa, and being conscious of the sensitivity of your being sensitive to the sensitivity of your position, and that Allah has given you this position, and whether it be on a black person or white person, and Allah has given you this responsibility. The noble sit in front of you, and the lowly sit in front of you. The friend sits in front of you, the enemy sits in front of you, and all of them have a right to justice, and all of them have rights that you deal with them justly. Now that you have to see that in this position that Allah has given you, what work you will do, what your actions will be, and we frighten you about the day, meaning the day of judgment, where the eyes will be downcast and the hearts will be trembling, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's anger and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power will be manifest, and in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in front of His proof, no proof will be acceptable, and all the creation in front of Him will be they'll be destitutes, and they will be hoping for His rahmah only, and they will be fearful of His punishment. And we remind you that from the signs from the end of times, that people will be such when they will be with apparently they'll be with each other as brothers, but in their hearts they will have enmity towards each other. And the only reason that we have sent this letter to you is out of goodwill towards you. And there's no other basis for telling you this. And then Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, he replied to Sayyidina Abu Ubayd al-Jarrah radiallahu anhu and Mu'adh bin Jabal radiallahu anhu, Assalamu alaikum, amma ba'd. You have written this letter to me, that being sensitive, being mindful of my position, sensitive position, that I am ruling over everybody, that is the white and the black, and this has been given hand entrusted to me, and in front of me the nobles sit and the lowly sit, and the friends and enemies sit there before me, and that you've reminded me that I should be just and fulfill the rights of justice to all of them, and that you have written to me and you told me that I should watch out how I act and how my conduct will be in my responsibilities. In this position, that for Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu to be saved, then without the tawfiq, without the ability from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is nothing else that one can depend upon. And you have frightened me about the day of judgment and the changing of the day and the night, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us a chance, and as the days and nights go past, and everything will come to pass as has been destined, and everybody will keep going along this path, their destinies, until they either reach Jannah or Jahannam. And you have brought to my attention that in the end of times, that people will be brothers apparently, but they'll be enemies really on the inside. You should be content, you should be satisfied, you should know that you are not among those people. And this is not that time. In that time, people out of fear or out of greed, like trying to get something from people, they will have good will towards each other, behave nicely towards each other. They'll be two-faced. They'll be really nice to each other because they fear the person's harm, or they want to get something worldly position or some worldly thing. So they'll act nicely, but in reality, in the heart, they have hate for the person. You wrote to me that this is, as you've told me this as advice and as a goodwill, and this is absolutely correct. And I want you to continue writing to me. And I'm always in need of your beneficial counsel. Wassalamu alaikum. So from this letter, you can see from the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, despite reaching the top position in the land, other Sahaba radiallahu anhu, like Mu'adh bin Jabal and Abu bin Jarrah, ulama of the Sahaba and so forth, and the senior Sahaba, they used to advise and give spiritual counsel. They're talking about the day, they're writing to the Muslim ruler about Akhir Zaman, they're writing about the day of judgment, they're writing about his responsibility, justice, because the single most important duty of the ruler is to be just. It is the greatest. A just ruler is a level below the Anbiya alayhi salam. His station and position is so high because it's so difficult to do. So his job, other than his own personal ibadah, doing his fara'id, the most important single duty that he has over the Muslims is to enact justice. So then the main responsibility, they're reminding him of that to be watchful, and also that the time is coming where people, it's something to be scared of, that the people will come to you and they will be two-faced, and they may be fearful of you, or they might be coming to get some worldly thing. So be careful when you deal with the people. They're advising the Khalifa. Maybe they saw something in their area, they're in Sham and other areas, and they maybe saw something in the people in the far-off lands where the people were pretending to be, they were two-faced. So maybe they seen something, and they're advising Umar Khattab to watch out. We're no longer dealing with Sahaba radiallahu anhum, just Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet. What you see is what you get. Now we're dealing with a different type of people who they say one thing, but their real intention is something else. The next hadith number 81. عن حذيفة اليمان رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيكون في آخر الزمان قوم يقولون لا قدر فإن مرضوا فلا تعودوهم وإن ماتوا فلا تشهدوهم فإنهم شيعة الدجال فإنهم شيعة الدجال وحق على الله عز وجل أن يلحقهم به. So Hudayfa ibn Yaman radiallahu anhu narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that in the end times, Akhir Zaman, there will be a people who say there's no qadr, there's no taqdeer, there's no destiny, there's no, that Allah is divinely destined or that Allah is divinely decreed. There's no divine decree. If they become sick, there's some modernists like that, and people who believe that, and groups have appeared throughout history like Jabariya, Qadariya, various Qadariya, they denied qadr, or they just things like we are the creators of our own destiny. What we do is that's what decide. There's no decision from the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We just left in this world to our own devices, and whatever we do has an outcome, but God has no say, and there's no divine decree. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when such a people appear who said there's no qadr, if they become sick, don't visit them. If they die, do not appear at the janazah. They had to be treated like as a kafir, and furthermore, and because they are the Shia of the Dajjal, the party of Dajjal, and it is Allah will make it necessary. Allah will make it so that they will meet up with Dajjal. People who carry these type of attitudes. So people who deny fundamentals of deen, right? Here in the hadith mentioned qadr, right? A core tenet of deen that they absolutely deny. Then they're the type of people that will be the followers of Dajjal, even if they call themselves Muslims. Even if they call themselves Muslims, they end up following Dajjal and will accept him as a prophet and a god. Same with people who deny Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam being the last prophet. These people will meet up with Dajjal. These type of people that have other prophets after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, that they accepted other people as prophets and so forth, or denied a fundamental of deen. That all these different groups, they will all end up, and Allah will make as a punishment in this world. If they live long enough, they'll meet up, and because their aqidah, their beliefs inside are rotten, and the people of rotten belief will not be able to stand before Dajjal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Hadith number 82. عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال عمر رضي الله عنه إنهم سيكون الناس يكذبون بالدجال ويكذبون بطلوع الشمس من مغربها ويكذبون بعذاب القبر ويكذبون بالشفاعة ويكذبون بالحوض ويكذبون بقوم يخرجون من النار بعد ما امتحشوا. The Ibn Abbas رضي الله عنهما said that Umar رضي الله عنه said there will be a people who will deny Dajjal. They will not accept Dajjal. There are people that have appeared today, they don't accept Dajjal. They will deny the rising of the sun from the west. Right? These are signs of the Day of Judgment that our Prophet ﷺ has told us about. Clear hadith accepted by the whole ummah. They will deny in the azab the qabr, the punishment, the torment of the grave. They will deny on the shafa'ah, the intercession of Rasulullah ﷺ, the shafa'ah, the kubra wal udhma, the great intercession of Rasulullah ﷺ, Day of Judgment. Anbiya alayhi salam will give intercession, pious people will give an intercession, hufaz, ulama and so forth. And but the great shafa'ah on the Day of Judgment that everyone has hope for is the shafa'ah of Rasulullah ﷺ, where he will make shafa'ah, intercede for the people of major sins of this ummah who are destined for the fire of Jahannam. He will intercede in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So people will come who will deny Dajjal, they will deny the sun rising in the west, they will deny the punishment of the grave, they will deny shafa'ah, they will deny the hawd, the pond of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which are the believers, those who follow, that adhere to the sunnah, that they will drink from on the Day of Judgment from the hands of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They'll deny people being taken out from the fire of Jahannam and attaining salvation after they're punished for their major sins. Right? People that are punished for sins in Jahannam, Muslim believers who end up in Jahannam, and then they'll attain salvation after. Eventually they'll go to the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of these things are matters of the ghaib. Even the events in this world. Dajjal we don't know. He hasn't appeared yet. So it is accepting. All of these are related to the iman bil ghaib. Accepting of the unseen. Those people whose iman is only what they can see. They can only see dinar and dirham, dollar and cents. They can only see what science has to say. Right? Science can only deal with the seen world. Like it cannot deal with the unseen, the ghaib. So all of these things are matters of. So people will become like this. So he said there will be such people. that they will deny before the end of times, their iman will be so weak, all of these will become fairy tales to them. Even though they'll identify as a Muslim, they'll deny these. And there are groups that specifically they'll question the coming of Isa alayhi salam, descending of Isa alayhi salam. They'll deny the Isa alayhi salam was lifted alive and then he'll come back, be descend before the end of times again into this world. So they'll deny these things, or they'll make interpretation, or they'll say Na'uzubillah, Isa alayhi salam is he died, or whatever. So all of these, because the news that has come to us from Allah, because Iman by definition means to accept news that has come to you without seeing it. That's why in the first page of the Quran, yu'minuna bil ghaib, that they believe in the believers are who? The muttaqi are who? The rightly guided are who? The one who believe in the unseen, that which have not seen with their own eyes. They cannot corroborate it. They cannot confirm it. All they've got is a confirmation of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's Iman. They accept whatever has come from the side of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So these are these type of people, and they do appear from time to time. But the heart of the matter is their belief in these matters are matters of believing in the ghaib, in the unseen. And our belief should be increased. Effort should be made to increase the Iman on the ghaib so much that it becomes more clear to us than this world. Because the ghaib is the reality. The hereafter is a reality, permanent reality. Therefore, our belief on that should be more stronger. I think it was Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, if I'm correct, that he said that if the Jannah and Jahannam is shown to me, my Iman would not increase. Because the Iman was not just on seeing, the Iman was, they made effort their whole life with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Such a faith was developed on the unseen without having seen it, that even if they saw it, it would not change anything. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us such an Iman. The last hadith for today, hadith number 83. It's a long hadith, I'll read it first. أخرج ابن جريج عن في تهذيب الآثار حدثني أبو حميد الحمصي أحمد بن مغيرة حدثنا عثمان بن سعيد محمد بن المهاجر حدثنا الزبيدي عن الزهري عن عروة عن عائشة رضي الله عنها أنها قال يا ويح لبيد حيث يقول ذهب الذين يعاش في أكنافهم وبقيت في خلف كجلد الأجربي قال عائشة رضي الله عنها فكيف لو أدرك زمان هذا قال عروة رحم الله عائشة. So in this hadith, there's a chain of narration. As the hadith were before they're recorded books, each person that narrated the hadith is mentioned. So Ibn Jarir, he said in his book, and he narrated from, he heard from Abu Humayd al-Himsi, Ahmad al-Mughira, who heard from Uthman ibn Sa'id, Muhammad al-Muhajir, who heard from Muhammad ibn Muhajir, who heard from Zubaydi, who heard from Zuhri, who heard from Urwa, who heard from Aisha radiallahu anha. The poem, she said about the poem of Labid, that the good ones have left. The people that are worth any value in this world, the great ones, have passed away. And there's only the useless that are left. I'm putting my own paraphrase. The good ones, the great ones, they've passed away. The good ones have died. And there's just, the refuse, the leftovers. That's the type of people that are left in the world. The people of generosity, the people of magnanimity, the large-heartedness, the people of bravery, the people of great sifat, they've gone. The leftovers, useless people are left now. So Aisha radiallahu anha said, how would it be if Labid saw our time? Because Labid lived in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, accepted Islam, was a great poet. So he goes, how would it be that if he saw our time? And Urwa said, may Allah have mercy on Aisha, rahimullah Aisha, فكيف لو أدركت زماننا هذا. He was the next narrator. He said, if she lived, he narrated from Aisha radiallahu this narration. This is her nephew. He said that, how would it be, how would she be, how would her reaction be if she saw our time? And Imam Zuhri Rahmatullah said, may Allah have mercy on Urwa, how would he be if he saw our time? And the next narrator, Zubaydi, said, may Allah have mercy on Zuhri, how would it be that if he saw our time? And Muhammad, the next narrator, said, I say, may Allah have mercy on Zubaydi, how would it be if he saw our time? And Abu Humayd said, regarding Abu Humayd said that Usman, and we say, may Allah have mercy on Muhammad, how would it be when he is our time? And Ibn Jarir Rahmatullah said about Abu Humayd, may Allah have mercy on Usman, how would it be that if he saw our time? And Ibn Jarir said, may Allah have mercy on Ahmad Mughira, how would it be if he saw our time? And they all said, how would it be if the previous generation saw our time? I mean, things got worse and worse and worse. And then he said, the Shaykh said, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on all of them. how would they react if they saw our time now, like in the present era, in the last 100 years? If they saw the condition of the ummah, how would their reaction be? That the good ones have gone, the people of great qualities and sifat and so forth have left us, and we are the leftovers that are left. And if the previous generation saw us, what would they think of us, and what type of Muslims have we become? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and tawfiq to practice what we say in here. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.